Hey, come take a walk with me for a minute. Let's have a little talk about this whole living alone thing. A lot of people hear that phrase and immediately think it's sad, like, oh, poor you. But the truth is, if you're not intentional, living alone can go sideways. You can start feeling off, even a little strange. That's why being deliberate matters so much. Living alone does not mean you're disconnected, cut off, or doomed to be lonely and miserable. Still, I'll be honest, after reading some of your comments, I worry a bit about some of you out there. So here's what I want to share. 3 simple things I make sure I do, because I live alone, and I've done it for years. They're not rules from some guru with all the answers, just lessons from one human figuring it out, same as you. And before we dive in, do me a small favor. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who might need it, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey together. Number 1. Always have something to look forward to. Here's the truth. Life feels bigger, brighter, and a whole lot more manageable when there's something on the horizon that excites you. And no, it doesn't have to be expensive, exotic, or Instagram-worthy. You don't need to book a trip to Paris or sign up for some bucket list cruise to feel alive. What you need is something real, something personal, and something that makes you smile when you think about it. For me, sometimes it's as simple as looking forward to a lobster roll down at the shore on the weekend. I'll be honest, I can think about that all week long, and when Saturday finally rolls around, I practically bounce out the door. It's not about the lobster roll itself. It's about having that spark of anticipation, that little reminder that life still has flavors worth savoring. Your something might look totally different. Maybe it's picking up new yarn for a project you've been meaning to start. Maybe it's planning a trip to Michael's craft store just to wander the aisles and see what catches your eye. Maybe it's something seasonal, like bird migration. Personally, I can't wait to get outside and spot those little warblers when they come through. For you, it might be the first daffodils of spring or a fall festival down the road. The size of the event doesn't matter. What matters is that it lights you up inside. The real key is to always have something on your calendar that matters to you. Not something other people expect of you, not something you're guilted into, but something you genuinely look forward to. It could be dinner at your favorite diner. It could be a new book waiting on your nightstand. It could even be setting aside time for your favorite show or baking cookies just because you feel like it. Here's the danger of living alone, and really of life in general. If you don't intentionally plan things that feed your spirit, you can slip into a routine where the days blur together. Wake up, eat, run errands, go to bed, repeat. And before you know it, weeks go by without anything that made your heart skip or your mind wander with excitement. That's why this isn't fluff. It's a survival skill. Having something to look forward to gives shape to your week. It puts a little glow in the ordinary. It's like telling yourself, hey, you matter, your joy matters. And when you live alone, you can't sit around waiting for someone else to put joy on your calendar. No one else is going to plan your life for you. That's your job. So here's the challenge. Right now, before the day gets away from you, put something down. Big or small, near or far. Just make sure it's yours. Because having something to look forward to isn't just nice, it's essential. Number 2. Keep routines, even when no one's watching. I'll be honest, this is something I struggle with, but it's also something I know is absolutely essential. When you live by yourself, you don't have anyone holding you accountable. There's no partner or spouse asking, hey, what's for dinner tonight? Or saying, come on, let's get outside for a walk. There's no shared list of chores where someone reminds you, who's scrubbing the toilet this week? It's just you. Which means if you don't create structure for yourself, nobody else will. I've learned that routines keep life from slipping into chaos. Without them, days blur together, and before you know it, you're eating cereal at 10 p.m. and wondering when the laundry last got done. I'll admit I'm not the most organised person. That's why I lean on little systems to help me out. For example, I use an app with a simple 20-minute timer. When I get home from work, I set it, then dash around getting chores done. Somehow, knowing the clock is ticking helps me stay focused and keeps my living space from turning into a disaster zone. Work itself provides some structure. Alarm goes off, I'm out the door by 7, back by evening. But here's the catch. Once you're retired, that natural framework disappears. No one's expecting you at an office. No one cares if you roll out of bed at 9 or noon. That freedom feels nice at first, but it can quietly mess with your mental health if you're not careful. I know because I've been there, especially during 2020, when so many of us worked from home. Without set times to wake up, eat meals, or even get dressed properly, the days slid into each other. And honestly, it made me feel sluggish, unfocused, and disconnected. That's when I realized routines aren't just about productivity, they're about stability. So what does that look like? It can be simple. Set a wake-up time and stick to it. Plan meal times instead of grazing all day. Schedule a short walk in the morning, even if it's just around the block. Make Friday the day you change the sheets, or Sunday the day you water all the plants. These little anchors give your week shape. And don't underestimate how much that structure supports your mental health. When you know what's coming next, you feel more grounded. When you follow a rhythm, you feel more in control. And when you're living alone, that sense of control is gold. So yes, keeping routines takes effort. It means being accountable to yourself instead of someone else. But it also means protecting your well-being. Don't let days dissolve into a shapeless blur. Create routines that work for you, and you'll find your life feels steadier, healthier, and a lot more satisfying. If you find this content inspiring and it motivates you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 3, have something to look forward to, and for heaven's sake, get out of the house. Let's be honest here. When you live alone, it's dangerously easy to spend day after day within the same 4 walls. Before you know it, the couch has your shape molded into it, and you start forgetting what fresh air feels like. That's why this one is crucial. Give yourself something to look forward to, and make sure it involves stepping outside now and then. Here's the deal. You can plan things with other people, sure. But even if you don't feel like socializing, you can plan things just for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's something as simple as walking to a coffee shop and ordering a latte. The important part is that you're leaving the house and having some kind of human interaction, even if it's nothing more than a smile from the barista. I'll give you a little story. Last weekend I went out to meet a friend. Now, this guy has been a friend of mine for 30 years, and he's never once been on time. So there I was, waiting in line at the cafe, when I suddenly hear someone ask, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" My first thought was, oh no, what did I say? What did I do? Am I in trouble? Turns out it was one of our viewers, Jim. Wonderful guy. He was sitting with a few friends, recognized me, and invited me over for coffee while I waited. My chronically late friend eventually showed up, but in the meantime, I had this great, unexpected conversation with Jim. It reminded me that you never know who you'll meet or what little moments of connection life will hand you if you're out there to receive them. And that's the point. You won't stumble into new experiences, kind people, or even a simple laugh with a stranger if you never leave your doorstep. Staying home all the time might feel safe, but it also cuts you off from the very moments that can brighten your day and remind you you're part of the world. Now, I know a lot of you out there are content, happy, and thriving while living alone. And I love that. I truly do. But here's the part we need to be honest about. Even the happiest, healthiest people can slip into loneliness or isolation if they're not paying attention. That's not weakness. That's just human nature. So, be upfront with yourself. Check in. Are you starting to feel a little down? Are you talking to yourself more than usual? Are you going stir-crazy in your own company? If the answer is yes, then do something about it. Get up, get out, and put something on your calendar that makes you look forward to tomorrow. Nobody is going to take care of you but you. That's the reality. And there's no shame in admitting that sometimes living alone gets lonely, or a little depressing, or makes you feel just a bit off. The shame would be in ignoring it. So stay on top of it, my friends. Give yourself reasons to get out, stay engaged, and keep your life moving forward. When you live alone, it's tempting to stay tucked inside your safe little bubble. The chair has your shape molded into it, the TV remote is right where you left it, and the fridge hums like your only roommate. But here's the truth. Every time you step outside, even for something as ordinary as a walk around the block, it's like opening a brand new window to the world. Suddenly you're breathing different air, catching the warmth of the sun, and hearing the hum of life happening all around you. That open window matters, because a house that never gets fresh air eventually feels stuffy. The same thing happens to your spirit. And the beauty of it is, you don't need a dramatic plan to reap the benefits. Just walking down the street or sitting on a bench at the park can change your whole outlook. When you step outside, you're not just changing scenery, you're letting your mind stretch a little. The trees swaying overhead, the sound of kids riding bikes, even the neighbor's dog barking at nothing in particular. All of it reminds you that you're part of something bigger than the walls of your living room. You bring that fresh energy back inside with you, and suddenly, the same old house feels a little less quiet, a little less heavy. But let's go further. That open window doesn't just give you air, it invites in the unexpected. And unexpected moments, my friends, are the real spice of life. You don't get them sitting in your recliner replaying the same show you watched yesterday. They come when you step into the flow of the world. Think about it. You head to the coffee shop just to grab a cup, and you end up having a 5-minute chat with the barista who remembers your name. You stop by the library, and there's a community flyer about a class you never knew existed. You take your usual walk and notice a patch of flowers blooming in a corner you've passed 100 times without looking. Those small surprises are what keep the days from blurring into each other. They're the little jolts of colour that make life feel textured and alive. And the best part? You can't plan them. You can only put yourself in the places where they might happen. That's why it's so important to get out of the house. Not because every trip will be magical, but because you never know which one will be. I'll give you an example. A man once told me he went to the grocery store just to pick up milk. Nothing glamorous about that. But while waiting in line, he struck up a conversation with the person ahead of him. They discovered they both loved baseball, ended up laughing about old games, and that quick chat became the highlight of his week. He didn't go out searching for that moment, but it found him, because he showed up. That's the power of the unexpected. It reminds you that life is still capable of surprise, even after decades of routine. It breaks through loneliness in ways you didn't anticipate. And it proves that you're never as disconnected as you might fear. There are threads of connection everywhere, waiting to be picked up. So think of every outing, big or small, as cracking open a window. You don't know exactly what breeze will blow in, but you know it will stir something inside you. It might be the laughter of strangers, the beauty of a sunset, or just the satisfaction of realizing, hey, I still belong out here. And when you come back home, you carry that spark with you. Your house feels less like a cage and more like a place you return to, refreshed. The lesson is simple. Don't underestimate the value of stepping out. You're not just killing time, you're giving yourself oxygen, perspective, and the chance for life to surprise you. Because as quiet as living alone can be, the world outside your door is always moving, always shifting, always ready to remind you that you're part of its story. All you have to do is open the window and let it in. When you live alone, it's easy to lean hard on routines. Same chair, same breakfast, same walk around the block. And let's be clear, routines are wonderful anchors. They keep you steady, keep your days from slipping into chaos. But here's the flip side. If you only ever stick with what you already know, life can start to feel flat, predictable, like you're replaying the same scene over and over. That's why one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself is the willingness to try something new. Now, I'm not talking about skydiving or moving across the country. I mean small, approachable experiments, little sparks that remind you there's still more out there waiting for you. Maybe this week, it's trying a new recipe, something you've never cooked before. Next week, it could be walking a different route through your neighborhood just to see what's around the corner. Or maybe you check out a free class at the library where you learn something random like watercolor painting or basic Spanish phrases. None of these things are huge commitments, but together they create a sense of discovery. And here's the magic. Those new experiences often bring joy in ways you don't expect. You try a dish you thought you'd hate, and suddenly it's your new favorite comfort food. You take a detour on a walk and stumble upon a hidden garden you never knew existed. You attend a library workshop and end up chatting with someone who makes you laugh. It's not about reinventing yourself. It's about sprinkling your days with moments of freshness, so life doesn't feel stale. Even better, trying new things gives you momentum. Think about it. When you succeed at one small challenge, like showing up for a beginner's yoga class, you prove to yourself that you can keep growing. That energy spills into other parts of your life. You start saying yes more often, and suddenly your world feels a little bigger, a little brighter. And when you live alone, those little sparks of motivation can make the difference between a week that drags and a week that feels alive. But there's another layer to this, and it goes deeper than just avoiding boredom. Every time you choose to step outside your comfort zone, you're also exercising your autonomy. You're reminding yourself that you still have power over your own life. It's easy, especially as we age, to feel like the world is shrinking around us, like choices are being taken away one by one. But the truth is, you still get to decide. You can either sit back and let life dictate the terms, or you can lean forward and create your own. When you leave the house to try something new, you're not just passing time, you're proving something to yourself, that you're steering the ship, not drifting wherever the current takes you. And that proof is priceless. It builds confidence, it gives you dignity, it pushes back against that quiet voice that whispers, maybe I can't anymore. Because the act of doing, of choosing, says loudly, yes I can. So let me challenge you. This week, pick one new thing. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Try a dish you've never ordered before. Take a class you never thought was for you. Listen to a podcast about a subject you don't know anything about. Do something that nudges you just a little off the beaten path. And when you do, notice how it feels. Notice how much lighter your step is when you realize you're not stuck in a rut, that you can still surprise yourself. Notice how even the smallest change can ripple outward, making the whole week feel fresher. That's the power of trying something new. It keeps you moving, keeps you curious, and keeps you in charge of your own story. Because in the end, living alone isn't just about surviving. It's about proving to yourself day by day, that you still have the freedom to shape your life. And that freedom? That's worth celebrating. So here we are, at the end of another conversation about living alone, staying alive to possibility, and proving to yourself that solitude does not have to equal stagnation. We've talked about routines, about getting out of the house, about cracking open windows to let in the world. And now, we've arrived at something that ties it all together: the courage to keep trying new things. Because here's the secret nobody tells you. Discovery doesn't end just because you've crossed a certain birthday. Growth doesn't stop because you live by yourself. The story doesn't close because your household is quiet. You're not just keeping yourself occupied, you're reminding yourself, again and again, that life still has corners you haven't turned and colours you haven't seen. Every new dish, every new walk, every small class or unfamiliar face is a whisper from the universe. You are not finished yet. And when you lean into those whispers, when you follow them, even timidly, you expand your world. You breathe in something different, and the air feels cleaner. You see something new, and the view feels wider. These moments don't just add variety, they restore a sense of agency, that vital reminder that you're still steering your own ship. And maybe that's the real point here. Living alone can sometimes feel like life has pressed pause. But when you try something new, no matter how small, you prove that pause is an illusion. You prove that forward motion is still possible, and that autonomy, curiosity, and courage are still yours to claim. So what happens next is up to you. Do you stay within the safety of what's familiar? Or do you open the next window? Do you sit quietly in your chair? Or do you stand up and follow that small tug of curiosity? Every choice is another brushstroke on the canvas of your life, and the picture isn't finished. Not yet. If any of this resonates, if you felt a spark while reading, then maybe that's your sign. Maybe it's time to try, to step, to move, to stretch. And if you want to keep walking this road with me, exploring new corners of what it means to live fully, even alone, there's a way to stay connected. You already know what to do. Somewhere below, there are buttons that lead to more. One invites you to like, another to share, another to subscribe. They may look ordinary, but they're really doors. Doors into future conversations, future sparks, future reminders that your story isn't over. So take a breath, make your choice, and step through. The next window is waiting.